not because I chose it, but because of my last name. In my school district in Minnesota, where I grew up, they call people down in alphabetical order to see if they would like to join the band. And at the end of third grade, when I was 8 years old, they brought me down. My last name is Sheridan. It begins with an S. And like every 8-year-old boy in the world, I wanted to hit something, so I wanted to be a drummer. And they had 11 drummers already. They said, but if you play tuba, because we don't have anybody that plays tuba, for 1 year, then next year you can play anything you want. And I said, okay, sounds great. Good 8-year-old logic. So I chose the instrument. Went down to school with my mom in her car, I think it was a Yugo or something like that, to pick up the sousaphone. And it was one of those big, large, yellow, smelly sousaphones with the sousaphone and the bell and the stand.
So,
well, this was a sousaphone. It was an old Con 20K with the green vinyl seat with the 3-pronged stand, and I sat on phone books so I could get high enough up to the mouthpiece.
so you didn't have to buy a horn, it was a school horn?
It was a school horn. 6 or 7 weeks into playing, and I turned 9 over the summer. My mom came in and ripped the Rubank book up, threw it out, and several words that we can't say on camera came out of her mouth about, I don't want to hear this whole note and half note garbage anymore.
I said, I don't want to hear that anymore. You play melodies on the piano, you should be playing melodies on the tuba.
I'm sure you know the story, Tubby the Tuba.
Yes.
The story of this cartoon animated tuba that was sad and unhappy.
Once upon a time, there was an orchestra which was all busy tuning up. First, the oboe gave his A to the strings, the woodwinds, to the brass. Up and around the scales they raced helter-skelter, faster and faster. All but Tubby the tuba. A fat little tuba, puffing away, but oh, so slow. Oh, what lovely music, thought Tubby, and sighed. Phil, what's the matter, said Peepo the Piccolo. Oh, said Tubby, every time we do a new piece, you all get such pretty melodies to play, and I, never, never a pretty melody. But people don't write pretty melodies for tubas, it just isn't done. Oh, there's the conductor. Shh. First, the violins danced the lovely little tune. Then the woodwinds picked it up. Our turn tooted the trumpets. And the rest joined in. Tubby, said the conductor. Tubby. Whew. Tubby, what's the matter? Please, sir. I thought it would be so nice to dance with the pretty little tune instead of going paw all the time. Dance, laughed the violins, dance, really. And the French horn put his hand to his mouth and snickered. The whole orchestra began to laugh. Stop it, cried the conductor. Stop it, I say. Tubby. Please, sir. I wasn't laughing. Rehearsal was over. And Tubby went to the river and sat down on a log and looked at himself in the water.
Ahem. Bug up, lovely evening, bug up. I said, lovely evening, clunk, 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 clunk. I said, beautiful evening. Hello, bug up, hello, bug up, hello.
But Tubby just sat.
Oh, well, I'm not wanted.
Oh, cried Tubby. Please, Mr. Frog, please come back. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be impolite.
Oh, that's all right. I'm used to it. No one pays any attention to me either.
Really?
Why, of course. Every night I sit here and sing my heart out. But does anyone listen to me? No.
Can you sing?
Can I sing? Listen.
Oh, that's lovely, said Tubby.
Now you try it, said the frog.
Oh, thank you, said Tubby.
Say, you're a very fine tuba. Do you know it, Tubby? You know you should try that with your orchestra sometime.
Oh, I will. Goodbye, Mr. Frog. And off went Tubby as happy could be. The next day, the orchestra was busy tuning up and buzzing with excitement over the arrival of the great new conductor, Signor Pizzicato.
All right. Begin.
Oh, that wretched Tuba! He'll disgrace us! The trombone stuck out his tongue. And the trumpet snickered. Tubby, said Senor Pizzicato. Tubby, I've never heard a tuba play a melody before. Let's hear the rest of it. Oh, said Tubby. Why, how perfectly wonderful. Please, Tubby, may we sing your song too? How about us? Cried the xylophones. And me, said the trombone. May I? Said the duet. Here I come, called people. And they all played.
have our points too, don't we?
Oh, how happy I am.
The tuba is part of an orchestra, and he was limited as a player to play pa, pa, pa. You related a little bit of this to me in your own life story here about that your mother was tired of hearing you play pa. So it sounds like your life. My question to you is, why would anybody want to play the tuba?
The tuba is a friendly instrument. It's not. It's almost impossible to play it in a fashion that's harsh on the ears, because of the sound that it makes. It's very easy to play really beautiful melodies in a way that allows people to warm to it because of its tone quality.
Yeah.
When played melodically or in an engaging way, it's friendly. It's a friendly instrument.
The other part of it that I get out of it from your standpoint is that it's fun.
It's a riot.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in the 70s and the 80s, and I did like the popular, I still do like the popular music of the time, and musicians like Eric Clapton and people like Elton John and Billy Joel who were experimenting with different types of sounds. And one of the things I always wanted to be able to do was to be able to play guitar and be able to make that distorted sound. And you can do that on just about any instrument, and I've discovered how to do that on this instrument, to be able to make it, turn it in to a distorted guitar.
Unbelievable.
And that's just playing around and experimenting and finding out the different types of things that you can do. And I discovered those things because I wasn't being limited by instruction from others or from my own thinking. I was just trying to find ways to make interesting sounds on the instrument.
Did you play an instrument?
Sousaphone
No kidding.
in high school,
Oh, wow. Where did you go to school?
Sullivan, Indiana.
Ah,
Graduated
okay.
from there.
So you obviously know there's some benefits being part of a band program.
Oh yes, absolutely. We were talking about that on the way down here.
Is that right?
How much fun it was. It's always
Yeah.
work, but it's fun.
Uh-huh.
Good time.
We try to let them make the choices as much as possible, but we want to provide the opportunities. Both of them seem to be excited about music in one way or another.
Girls, big decision. Big decision. No. What are you gonna do?
So you tried out on clarinet?
Yeah.
And what else?
And flute.
And flute. Did you like one better than the other?
The flute.
You did. Why?
The clarinet hurts my finger.
Ah.
What happened with the clarinet?
It was probably the most fond memories I have of being in high school and grade school and so forth. They stick out above everything else.
Really?
When you were in the band, you got to do things that nobody else got to do, you know, in terms of field trips and being involved in different things that went on. You know, they always wanted the band to play some music for this, that, and the other, and so there was a lot of extra activities that was involved in being in the band. And I think it gives you a little bit of insight into a lot of areas of life in terms of what it takes to get things done, and working with an organization, with a group, that the band is all about teamwork, you know.
Yeah.
And so it, you know, some of the friends that I have that from high school, they were people in the band. Because in band, I think you're working together more closely than you do in the other classes.
And you get to do it over the whole high school period of time as opposed to just one class.
Right.
Well, with a good group of kids, for one, meeting good friends, And I think that's real important in high school. And learning to appreciate all kinds of music, too. Like, she'll come home and play classical music, you know, things that they're playing in symphonic band.
I really liked performing in that church in France. I can't say it right, but it was like something like Saint Germain Cathedral.
It's very exciting for us to play in this beautiful church, and I understand the oldest church in Paris. I learned today.
So what brings you folks along on the trip? A little adventure here.
We thought it'd be neat to come and finish off her high school career of music and share it with her, and it'd be a good chance for us to come on overseas.
Well, you guys are playing a part in overseeing and watching the kids too.
Yes, and it's easy. The kids
very
are
good
so enjoyable. They're fun.
Yeah.
Lots of fun.
They're really a mature bunch of young people.
They sure are.
Right. They seem to be pretty committed and dedicated to what they're doing.
Yes. When it's time to focus, when they have a concert, they do it.
Very professional.
Like, the best thing that's happened is when we went to Paris and got to see the Eiffel Tower and the Notre Dame and the Arc de Triomphe. And the people have been really different over here, but it's taken some getting used to, but it's been pretty fun.
I really liked all the stuff that we got to see in Paris. It was like, some of it, you just walked in there, it took your breath away. It's like magic. It's like, wow.
I think I liked Notre Dame the best. The stained glass was gorgeous. The way the light went into the room and the way the architecture, the way it was built so that you looked up towards the heavens, all the candles, it was just the atmosphere that I liked.
Like, you would go into the cafes and stuff like that, and you have to, you know, I don't know any French, and so I have to take out my little sheet and look like a fool, and I mean, it's really interesting, and it's a new experience for me.
I remember the rehearsal last night was pretty extraordinary.
After you'd stop playing it, the sound would continue for about another 10 seconds before it would finally die away.
We'd stop playing and the sound would go forever, and I mean, you'd have to like hold back because it was so loud.
I swear, there was this one part on the camp house we got to, I can't remember where it is, it's like right before the Allegro. We had that big cutoff, and we held that chord over. I swear I was almost crying. I was like, oh my God.
Oh, my experience has been very good. It's done a lot of good for her, not only in her band playing, but her personal, just how she feels about. She takes more chances than she ever would before. Her and herself is good.
No.
If you knew how shy she was a few years ago, you'd realize that it's really done a lot of good for her.
Excellent.
When I talk to her teacher at school, I say something about how shy she'll be, and the band instructor will say, no, not her, not in band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long have you been involved in the program?
3. This is her 3rd year.
3rd year? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And was pretty shy before, and now she's brave enough to play solos in her school band, so that's really been pretty good.
So you've been doing it for 3 years and you like it?
Mm-hmm.
What made you choose the trumpet?
I love the program.
Yeah.
I think it's done her a lot of good, so.
Mm-hmm.
Bands are good for kids, I think.
saxophone, percussion, and flute.
Uh-huh. And so far, which ones did you like best?
I like the percussion and the flute.
But you told me you enjoyed all of them.
Yeah, but saxophone's kind of squeaks too much. Yeah, it squawks.
I love it. I'm a bus driver also, so we try to take all the band trips and just
Oh, wow.
absolutely loved it. Yeah.
So you get to drive the band kids around, do you?
Mm-hmm. Sure do.
Oh, no kidding.
Uh-huh.
What, have you had experience driving kids other than band kids too?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We take all types of extracurricular bus trips. We drive for the school system, so
gotcha.
our main job is to transport kids back and forth to school.
Ah.
But we took some extracurricular band trips, and we tried to take as many as we could.
Uh-huh.
We just really enjoyed it.
Do you?
Yes.
Are kids that are in band any different than kids that are in other classes that you drive?
I think so.
Yeah? How?
I always commented on how they seem to be so close-knit and seem to be a fun group of kids, a good, clean group of kids, and I just loved the teamwork. They all encouraged one another, and they just had fun. And they were very respectful on the bus.
A little more controlled than the
A little more
average.
mature and controlled, yeah.
Wonderful. So obviously that looks like it might be a benefit for your children, huh?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And how about you? Did you like one of those better than the other?
Yeah, I like the trumpet better.
You like the trumpet better, huh? You know, trumpet players are always the stars in a band. You know, they have to go out and play the solos and, you know, get all the applause and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Any other sacrifices that you need to make to be a band parent?
Juggling the transportation schedule with my wife and
Pickup and delivery.
the pickup delivery
Right.
stuff. Yeah.
But it's really worth it.
Is it?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's like if they're willing to make the sacrifice, you know, we are. I mean, if she's willing to put that work into it.
Mm-hmm.
If there is a sacrifice that you make, I don't realize them because I enjoy following the bands and being a part of and seeing them develop in it. So I think the sacrifices you do make are well worth it. And after a while, you just don't realize that you're making them. It's just part of it.
There's some financial obligations, renting instruments, and you know we like to try to provide one that's enjoyable to play. So we looked at a couple of different price ranges and chose something a little more expensive, but I think that it paid off.
So how does that part work? Do you have to buy an instrument? Do you rent an instrument?
Well, we rented initially with an option to buy it, and then after a number of months of renting, we decided to purchase the instrument that
So
he
it's
was
kind of
playing.
like a trial period in
Yeah.
the event that the student doesn't
Right.
want to continue, or
It wasn't too long into it that we knew that he was pretty serious about it. So
oh, that's neat.
Play everything. Right, there's a note. Try it again. That's completely it. And off. Good.
I guess a big one is just being patient, not to send negative signals early. We expect, I think, as parents, that things will develop quickly, and that's not always going to be the case. And so one of the things I try to keep in my mind is that, you know, it's a long process to learn to make a nice sound, and we don't want to discourage it.
Takes time to develop the good
There's just a
tone.
patience of just being in a house with a musician who's just in the early stages.
Most people that play an instrument feel important when they do play, because they think they have a place.
But haven't you had anybody call you a band geek yet?
No.
No.
Because most of my friends play an instrument, and if they don't, they want to.
My other daughter that went all the way through high school and was in the band program in the color guard, not actually in the band, but in the band program. She made it through high school and she didn't have any problems. And they even taught her, like when she went to the Drum and Bugle Corps, that college is important, it's an important part of life, and her values seem to be really well set. And I would blame that on the band program or give them the credit.
I don't know if you know this or not, that band students, over 90% of band students that go to college graduate with an undergraduate degree. Over 90%. That's higher than any other organization school. I think student council is like 78%.
If a child is in music, they do better in every part of school.
Here's what we've said for years. You ready? You want to hear the whining mantra? All the smart kids are in music. You want your kid to be smart? All the smart kids are in music. Parents go, well, better get in there. That's where all the smart kids are. It's not true, but it sounds good, doesn't it? And don't you take all the scores, all your academic scores of your kid, and you add them up, and then you compare them to the rest of the school, and boy, you're a lot higher. You go, well, I got all the smart kids. Not true. Here's the truth. All the smart kids aren't in music. This is the truth. Once they join the music, they become the smart kids. Give me your kid. Their academic scores go up. You ready? 23% increase in 4 years of music. I can take a kid's academic scores up 23%. That's the average. 11% the first year, 14% the second year, 19% the third year, 23% the fourth year. What parents want to go, no, I don't want my child involved in that. You make kids smarter.
I'm with the band director, unfortunately, than they do with their own parents in terms of the number of hours, not good or bad. Yeah, right.
They spend more time communicating with that person on one-to-one statistically than they do their fathers across the board.
Right.
And so you can imagine the amount of influence that person has and the responsibility to see in that person, oh, you've got artistic skills, you are gifted at management, you're gifted at dealing with other people, you're great at logistical skills, and let me create other forums for you to exercise these and develop them to a higher level.
Right.
And I mean, you're a band director. Band is a microcosm of life.
Absolutely.
So if they can make it work in that community,
they
make it work in the world community.
The truth is, we have more maps in our brain than other people have.
A mother during gestation, if she plays a musical instrument, she has to play it. She can't just listen to music. But she physically plays a musical instrument, they can take a laser beam over that mama's tummy, and that brain will fire 5 times faster. Once those maps are set, once those bridges are put together, they never go away, ever.
Wrap the index finger around the mouthpiece. Yep. There it is. What did you do to make the sound?
Oh, I buzzed.
Yep.
I have a question.
Okay.
You're a mom, right?
Yes.
You're just doing this to get a sense of what it's like?
Yes, I think that I will better be able to say, have better responses to him when he talks about what he's experiencing, or, you know, kids come up with complaints too.
Yeah, right.
And if I'm in there with him,
then,
you know, it's now I'm doing it too, you know.
Well, that's wonderful, yeah.
And I want to be able to play with them whenever they're all grown up, because my husband plays. And I'm going to be left out.
You want to be part of that band too, huh?
If I don't get in there and learn, I'm just going to be left out, you know, so.
I think that for him as an adult, he laid his horn down for a while. And when he picked it back up a few years back, he now has something to just forget everything else, and it's an emotional and really good release from everything else in life. He has something he really enjoys, and he just forgets about everything else while he's doing it.
Wow. Yeah.
And as an adult, you need something like that.
Right.
A lot of people don't have it.
On the financial scale we're living with right now, a high school musician will make, on the average, $1.2 million more than a non-musician. Now, they obviously didn't go into music education, but they became doctors and lawyers, right?
Because there are studies in here that says if you have music in your life, you have less blood pressure problems. Unless you're a middle school band director. There's that.
In the world of tuba, there's one name that stands out among, I'm talking globally, and the name's Pat Sheridan. Now you go, oh, come on, you're blowing such. No, Pat's the best. There's enough CDs out there. All you got to do is go on his site or get on the net, and you'll find out. Ask any tuba player about Pat Sheridan. They'll go, oh, Pat Sheridan. He's here today. Pat came, and he's been traveling around with us on and off all summer long because he's trying to learn. Now, if you're the very best at what you do, and you crack a gig for playing about 8 minutes of your tuba, you don't need to come and hang out with a bunch of high school kids in leadership workshop, do you? So he's figured something out that the rest of us are trying to figure out. And it would be absolutely nonsense to have Pat Sheridan in this building with a bunch of musicians and not put him to work. He will do things with the tuba that you think are absolutely impossible to do. But it's way more than that. It's not about the horn. It's about the way he does what he does. Would you please welcome the world's greatest tuba player, Pat Sheridan?
But don't most of you have a preconceived notion about what this instrument is capable of? Yes? What kind of instrument is it? A big one. I have 150 concerts a year. I travel all over the world. Because I travel so much, I get to ride up in the front of the airplane quite a bit. Not drive, just in first class, because of all the frequent flyer miles that I have. And I still, by seemingly mature people, by leaders of Fortune 500 companies. I was just on the plane the other day with the CEO of a very large Fortune 50 company, who had a nice conversation with me, and at the end of the conversation, after I described to him everything that I do, looked at me and said, "But what do you do for a living? How do you do that?" And I thought, this is a guy that he's in charge of nearly $9 billion in sales for his company, and he can't rise above his preconceived notion about what this instrument is. So let's break a world record now. Let's blow your minds again about preconceived notions. When I recorded my first CD, I recorded a piece about the action of an insect that's normally played by a group of violins in the opera The Tsar Sultan. Anybody know the piece I'm talking about? Flight of the Bumblebee. The Flight of the Bumblebee, that's right. When I recorded it, I set the world land speed record, which was 1 minute and 2 seconds. Can I beat it? Let's see. Let's change your notion of a tuba playing fast. Let's change your notion of a bumblebee. I have to strap this on, otherwise it'll fly off. Are you ready? Yeah. Here we go. You gonna tell me when, or should I go? Whenever you're ready. I snared you a little bit. The world land speed record was set Monday, Monday at a clinic that Tim was doing in San Antonio, and I played it in 51 seconds. So, and the verdict today is
49.
Thank you.